All right. So I present to you with peace and love and a word of warning the latest 538 estimates for the Senate and for the House for these midterm elections. Now, there are so many different caveats and important things to talk about, but let me give you the numbers first. In the Senate, the 538 forecast now puts it at a 68% chance that Democrats hold control of the Senate. That is greater than a 2-to-1 margin. Now, things that are 32% likely to happen all the time. So we can't count out Republicans in the Senate. It is 68 to 32 in terms of likelihood of controlling the Senate based on the 538 forecast. Over in the House, it is a 24% chance that Democrats hold the House of Representatives. It's roughly, we could say, a 3-to-1 margin by which Republicans are expected to hold the House. Now, I want to remind you guys, this doesn't mean Republicans are expected to hold 76% of the seats. In fact, not at all. It's expected to be a relatively small margin if Republicans win. But Republicans are favored to win the House by any margin by roughly 3-to-1. Now, there are many important things to talk about here. First and foremost, both of these numbers, the Democratic odds in the Senate and the Democratic odds in the House, have been climbing over time. You might remember that some months ago on the Senate side, it was like a 52% chance that Democrats were going to hold the Senate. That's basically a coin flip. That has steadily climbed and climbed and climbed. It got to 2-to-1 a few days ago, and it has now gone beyond 2-to-1. So the momentum is absolutely there in terms of Democrats. Now, they're not going to get 60 seats. Democrats are not going to get 60 seats. So in some sense, it's kind of an academic question whether Democrats, if they do hold the Senate, will have somewhere between a 50-50 majority with Kamala Harris as the 51st tie-breaking vote up to some number under 60 senators. 60 is important because there are some measures in the Senate where you need 60 votes. A simple majority isn't enough. Democrats are not going to get 60. I don't see any path for that. So it is almost certainly going to be a situation where in order to get things done, Democrats on many issues are going to need some Republican votes. Obviously, it's better to only need 4 Republican votes than 10. No doubt about that. But that's where we're kind of operating, a very narrow margin. Now, over in the House, when you just look at the House numbers and you see, oh man, 3-to-1 margin, Republicans are expected to hold. Just a couple of months ago, the Democratic odds were far lower. I think they were around 16, 17, or 18%. So the shift from 17 to 24 in terms of the sheer raw numbers is not significant, but 7 over 17, you're talking about a roughly 40% increase in the odds that Democrats hold. Still favored to lose, but a significant change. What isn't reflected in these numbers? Democratic overperformance and Democratic electorate overrepresentation. In other words, turnout. And what we have seen now in Michigan and in New York and in Alaska is that the polls did not reflect a correct weighting on the basis of Democratic enthusiasm. And we've talked before about a number of the different reasons for this enthusiasm. Part of it includes, yes, the overturning of Roe v. Wade by this right-wing Supreme Court. Part of it includes Republican inaction on gun safety, although over the last month, that's probably faded a little bit in people's minds. And the very dramatic shift in all of a sudden, the MAGA right is in massive legal trouble. Trump might be getting indicted, Republican civil war, all of these different things. And on the Democratic side, things are quite calm. Joe Biden is racking up legislative accomplishments, the PACT Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, infrastructure, a very good jobs report. We are essentially at full employment. Wages are up. Inflation is down. Gas prices are down. And all of a sudden, there are people who are saying, what is the choice here? A party in disarray, soon facing indictments, the Republican Party, or Joe Biden, who has very quietly gotten a bunch of things done, student loan debt forgiveness now coming, people talking about maybe something on cannabis, et cetera, et cetera. That is not reflected in the numbers. And so while historically this should be a very bad election for Democrats, it's increasingly looking less and less bad. We're going to continue following the numbers, and I hope you'll join me tonight, roughly 7 p.m. Eastern, for Joe Biden's address to the nation. I think it will be very interesting. I will be live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at dpacman. Let me know what you make of these numbers. Who doesn't love a good cereal? The crunchiness, the sweetness, it satisfies in a serious manner. But then you grow up and now all the healthy cereals are boring and bland and they get soggy. And this is where Magic Spoon comes in. It is that sweet, crunchy texture you loved from childhood with 0 grams of sugar, only 4 to 5 net carbs, perfect if you're doing keto, only 140 calories per serving, and packed with 14 to 15 grams of protein. Magic Spoon spent years developing the recipes. It's really the only cereal on the market to get the texture and the flavor right without the sugar and without a ton of carbs. They have flavors like cocoa, honey nut, fruity, peanut butter. Maybe you want to go adventurous. They've got blueberry muffin, maple waffle, cookies and cream, or cinnamon roll. That brings back memories. I love Magic Spoon. The whole team does. But if you don't, you'll get a full refund. But I know it's about to become your new favorite cereal. You'll get $5 off when you go to magicspoon.com/Pacman. The link is down below.